We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out, right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Look at you, brother. Not Jerry. I want you to say it what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
Good morning, everyone. Week 9, Halloween weekend, Georgia, Florida. You ready to get weird, Trevor? Ready to get real weird?
It is going to get nuts out here. I can't wait to have the dad texting all my kids candy while I eat and watch football and just gain weight. It's going to be one of those weekends. I can't wait.
Yeah. And you're broadcasting from Jacksonville, probably the king of the weird this weekend.
Oh, it gets absolutely crazy around here this week. We got like pregame food trucks and bands playing like in my neighborhood. I feel like I'm in Gainesville right now with how much blue and orange. It's making me sick.
Right, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's like eating too much candy, right? You just feel off. Yeah, no bueno.
It's not good, but hey, it is at one hell of a party, and I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy going to the tailgating for that game. I could care less about the teams.
Allegedly, the world's biggest cocktail party. I mean, I didn't name it that.
Still is. But I think they tried to take that name away, but I'm pretty sure the city came back and said, no, we're taking that right back. It almost caused a riot. So yeah, no, we'll hold on to that. It's what makes Jacksonville famous.
Two things you can't get rid of: the Catalina wine mixer and the world's biggest cocktail party. The world needs both of those.
Yeah, the world will burn if you don't have those two going on.
Yeah, well, speaking of burn, some teams went down last week. Everyone's darling, the best jerseys in the country, Coastal Carolina goes down to App State. Doesn't it just seem like Appalachian State has a big upset every year?
They're the best team in the Sun Belt. I mean, according to this win, they had it. They stormed the field. They always come out with this. Like, I didn't even know who App State was until didn't they beat Michigan? Wasn't that
like blocked punt? So right. Michigan, instead of just like running the clock out, they decided to punt the ball and then block punt, return for a touchdown.
Brutal. But hey, put App State on the map, and now they're still beating top 25 teams on the occasion every 5 or so years. But hey, they're fun one to watch. I'll tell you that much.
Speaking not so fun to watch, 9 overtimes for Illinois to beat Penn State. I know neither one of us watched this because you were at the Knowles game and I was tailgating my ass off. But did you see any highlights from this 9 overtime game?
You know what? It took like 30 minutes for them to go through the entire broadcast of just the overtime coverage of this game. I was like, what is going on? It's like deja vu over and over. They kept doing it. It's a heartbreaker for Penn State, obviously. And I don't know if I think they're going to be completely deflated after a game like that.
When you lose that, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a hangover. If there's one thing you and I know all about, it's hangovers. And absolutely, there's going to be effects from that game. I know this isn't a gambling pod, but those that love the under, 9 overtimes, and the game still hit the under. Almost unbelievable.
That is insane. Really? That's an actual stat that happened?
Yes. Jeez. So if that doesn't scream Big Ten football, I don't know what does.
Yeah, we've got another one coming up here soon. Some ball busters and just hard knocks football that we're going to see here in a few weeks. But a few other games, Iowa State, Oklahoma State. You know, I think I called that one. Actually, in the picks.
You and I were both. Well, it was Oklahoma State being a plus money team, so we both took Oklahoma State to cover, which they did, but Iowa State won.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was definitely an interesting game, but actually, before we go forward, I want to highlight how well that we all did last week. So,
yes,
Brandon, 10-6, is not too shabby. You're actually beating your average for the season with this week, so bumping up your average there. Newman, 12-4, like just some solid numbers. A lot of there was supposed to be a lot of blowouts, but I think a lot of teams, the underdogs, came closer than we thought, or well, we got it right. And then, of course, I finished here with 13-3. So thank you very much. So
snaps and claps,
yeah,
and claps, 13-3.
I like it, which means this week I'm probably going to go 3-13. No,
It
just
does.
kidding.
Water finds a level.
It
You know where it doesn't find a level though? The ACC. How does Miami beat NC State? I mean, I've been down on NC State all year. If you followed the show at all, I don't think they're very good. But Miami is trash, bro. Like Miami is garbage.
Yeah, backup quarterback in there. Like Manny Diaz can't keep his team together. They're losing recruits. It's just no morale around it. Like, I don't know. NC State lost this game. Miami didn't win it. NC State just lost it. Just
Coming from a real Florida State fan, I'll take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I'll take whatever. But I liked NC State. NC State usually gives Florida State a tough time, so they're definitely a team that I kind of like to root for when they're not playing Florida State. So it's sad to see them go against Miami. But I'll be at the Miami versus Florida State game, and you can bet you I'll be having a good time in that one.
There we go. Speaking of good time, some crazy games: Cincy Navy, Oklahoma, Kansas, Oregon, UCLA, Wake Forest putting up a basketball score. It's just some wild games, Trev.
Yeah, it was a fun week, and we'll get into some of these. I think we got a lot more better games this week.
Way better.
But you're right. I will say 74 Wake Forest. They're a basketball school. It makes sense. Like
right?
Football team just
was Timmy D out there banking? Just the bank is open. What is going on?
Oh, they were throwing some dimes. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then your Bruins, your UCLA Bruins couldn't outlast Oregon.
Heartbreak. It keeps the Pac-12 alive in the college football playoff discussion with that win for UCLA. So Pac-12 still has some relevance. But yeah, heartbreaker like UCLA always does. So nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, speaking of heartbreaker, Kansas, so close. They literally opened up the stadium to students and anyone with a pulse, and they just can't get it done.
It's a cry for help. Cry for help in the middle of the game. Like, hey, we're beating Oklahoma. Come watch. Plenty of seats available. Like, if you don't say basketball there, it's like they just don't care. I see.
Yeah. But speaking of a basketball school not impressing, I saw Cincinnati in person. I don't think they're the real deal. They barely beat one-win Navy. Yeah,
that was just a bad game. And I think we'll talk about the Cincy Tulane game here in a second. But they really hurt their chances into the college football playoff. I still think if they win out, they make it in, just to make a point there. But it's not looking like it's going to be easy for them based off of how they played that last game.
Yeah, we'll get in more to the playoff as that gets closer. But let's get into this week's picks because, like you mentioned, there is quite a bit here to talk about. A ton of interesting games. The first one, not so much. Cincinnati, a 26-point favorite over the Green Wave, who, again, I'm an IU guy. I support the Big Ten, but Tulane's my fun team. The Big Wave, it's an awesome campus right there in New Orleans. They have awesome helmets, awesome jerseys. Give me the Green Wave to cover because 26 is a lot of points.
Yeah, 26 is a lot. I still, since he has been able to put up a lot of points, and Tulane's defense, I'm sorry, is nothing too much to tout about. So I like Cincy in this one. I think they do bounce back. It is in Tulane, which kind of worries me a little bit, but the line has been moving up, so now it's about 26.5. So it's going in the direction that I think
it started at 24.5. Money's sliding in on Cincinnati, which is why I like Tulane. So I think it's a little bit of an inflated line.
That makes sense. Yeah, hopefully if you are in Cincy, hopefully you got on earlier with that one. But I'm taking Cincy because I think they can make their way back. So we'll see.
You've been on the Cincy wagon all year, though. I mean, ride your guns.
I do. Yeah. We'll see. Until I'm wrong, I'm gonna keep betting with those guys.
Exactly. Speaking of Big Ten, we got the matchup of the week: Michigan at Michigan State. I will say, Michigan State, great school. I got a ton of friends. Horrible campus, like really boring and horrible tailgating. They all party at tennis courts. Like, meet me at the tennis courts is their thing, and it's weak. And similar to their tailgating atmosphere, I'm giving this game to Michigan. Again, I saw Michigan State in person. Their quarterback is really what's going to hold them back in this game. Peyton Thorne, or as I like to call Bella Thorne, just can't get it done, not against a good defense. And Michigan has a really, really good defense. So give me Michigan, giving 4 points there. I think this is probably a touchdown, maybe a touchdown plus game.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see a big day out of Blake Corum, their running back.
He's so good.
He's just absolutely disgusting. He might be that maybe late first, early second type of pick potentially. I think he's eligible. But yeah, I like Michigan here too. I've been on Michigan all year. So another one of those teams I'm gonna ride. Plus my ortho guy who fixed my knee is a big Michigan guy, so I'm going to give him some love, and we're going to go Michigan heavy on this. I think 4 points is not. I think they're going to win by double digits on this and make it
double digits. It could be. Trust me, Michigan State is not good. Again, I saw them in person. They almost let IU, who is horrible this year, beat them. IU should have beat them. Michigan State's very overrated. They played a soft schedule.
Yeah, and if you say their tailgating is bad, then it makes me hate them even more. So
it's the worst tailgate atmosphere I've ever been to. I've been to about a dozen schools, give or take, and Michigan State had the worst.
Yeah, Well, I mean, another shot at Miami. Miami tailgates also suck too. So another reason why
unsurprising. Talk about a game that will put you to sleep. We were talking about hangovers before. If you want to watch a game to fall asleep to, Iowa at Wisconsin. We got Spencer Petras versus Graham Mertz. It might be the worst big quarterback performance all year. There's no way I'm ever betting Graham Mertz. So give me Iowa. I don't love it, but it's more that Graham Mertz is a horrible quarterback.
Yeah, well, Spencer Petras is pretty bad too. He's touting a whole 45.8 QBR. Like, just this is going to be one of those ugly games. I'm glad that it's a noon game, so I'll be watching a different game during that time.
Yes, a lot of options at the noon slate.
Yeah, but I mean, for this one, I think I got to go with Iowa. I know they've been on a little bit of a slump here, but I can't. Wisconsin's just awful, and that quarterback it makes me angry every time I look at Mertz. I'm just like, oh, you're horrible. Like, so I gotta go with Iowa just because they're the ranked team, and 3.5 isn't that much.
Newman's picking Mertz too. I can't wait to rip him next time he's on the show for picking Mertz.
We'll get him back. Ugh. Horrible.
Speaking of disappointing, Texas. I mean, they came in with so much hype going into the year, though I do feel like that's kind of every year. Baylor, surprise team. So a lot of people are picking Baylor. I don't see it though. I'm taking the team that has the most talent, regardless of momentum. I'm going UT.
Yeah, give me Bijan Robinson all day. I love watching that guy run. Amazing tackle. Shedder. He's just fun to watch. I've never.
Is he draft eligible?
I believe he is.
Well, if he is, I mean, you earmark him for your fantasy leagues.
Sophomore, no. So he's got one more year.
One more year.
So not even a red shirt there. So very talented guy. Look for him in 2023 in rush boards, potentially Heisman type of run next year if Texas can get it right. Hopefully they don't lose their recruits like they've been doing because of how they've been playing. But a big win here against Baylor, which you and me both have. I think they can turn things around here. I have no faith in Baylor.
No, it just kind of seems like a Baylor letdown game. Speaking of letdown, there's a thing. I don't know if you've heard of this. FSU plays in the ACC, but you ever heard of Pitt's gonna Pitt? Like every few years when Pitt has a really good team, they end up losing a game they shouldn't. Yep. They're 9.5 point favorites to Miami. Miami's a trendy pick because of what they did last week against NC State. But hell no, I'm sticking with Pitt. I love Kenny Pickett. I love the momentum Pitt has going on with them right now. 9.5 is a lot of points. I'd be more comfortable with maybe a 7 or 8. But again, I can't pick Miami, and I like what Pitt's got going on.
Yeah, I've been loving Pitt too, and for the same reasons that you like him. Kenny Pickett has been playing lights out. He's nothing like flashy or anything, but he gets the job done. And I like Pitt at home particularly. So they've been playing well. Pickett doesn't turn the ball over. Miami seems to only be in games when they can get turnovers. So as long as Pitt takes care of the ball, which I believe they would do, I think they do win by double digits here. Because
and that's the thing. That's the thing that you nailed it on the head. The turnover chain was out in Miami versus NC State. Pitt, incredibly conservative offense. They don't turn the ball over, so they're not going to beat themselves. Which is, again, I agree with you. Why I think Pitt prevails. We finally disagree on one. Iowa State going to bygone West Virginia. Iowa State, another Big 12 team with a lot of preseason hype, hasn't really led up to it because of poor quarterback play. Brock Purdy has not been good, but I just don't see it with West Virginia. Iowa State's the more talented team. The 7-point line's tough, but I'm riding Iowa State here.
Yeah, I just like Morgantown. That's actually a very hard place to play football at. They show up in numbers. Actually, it's on one of my college bucket lists to go there. And West Virginia has these occasional games where they'll come out and just play lights out. And you're right. The quarterback play has been inconsistent for Iowa State, which I was pretty high on Purdy back in at the beginning. Now not so much.
Everybody was.
Yeah, he was up there pre-Heisman, up in the top 10. But no, give me West Virginia here, primarily just because I like them playing at home. And
if they win, they're lighting couches on fire. Like that's what they do. They're insane.
Just straight moonshine. The things light up like a Christmas tree.
All right, let's get to your hometown game here, Georgia, Florida. I think we're going to see a blowout. I think the resident Florida fans of Jacksonville are going to be disappointed. I don't see a way Florida can move the ball on Georgia. I think Georgia's the best team in the country right now. I think they win by 17, 18 points. Scares me with the Florida of a garbage time backdoor cover. But I'm riding with the best team in the country here.
Yeah, these two teams don't like each other, but during the tailgates, everyone's best friends. It's actually probably one of the best. Actually, I would say the best tailgate experience that I've been to, other than Florida State. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but funny story. The first tailgate that I went to for the largest cocktail party out there was in Jacksonville. I'm in downtown Jacksonville. I'm thinking I'm going to get robbed. Like, what is going on? I'm a college kid. I'm like, where is this place? So I'm walking through, and then all of a sudden, I just see a field of RVs just stacked up. I mean, there must have been, $100 million worth of RVs out there. And I walk up to the first one that I see, and there's just this, blue and orange shirt. Luckily, I was in Halloween attire because every single time I go to this, because I don't like these teams, I always wear like my Halloween costume.
Neutral, yeah.
So I think it was a pirate this time. So I walk right up, and basically this guy looks at me and he says, "Hey, you want a slushie, man?" And I was like, "What? Slushie?" And I go there, and literally built into their RV was a slushie maker. Two ones. One was orange and one was blue. And I did not leave that RV for the entire tailgate and for the entire game. Ended up passing out on one of their chairs after doing haircuts with the slushie machine, just like taking like each one. It was a great experience. I had a great time. Great people. So if you ever want to go to tailgate, fun one. But you're right. The Gators are going to get mollywopped here, I believe. And and I talked to a lot of Gator fans, none of them have much faith in UF pulling out an upset here. It's more to go out there and have fun in the game. But Georgia is the real deal. I agree. They are the best team in the country right now. And I think they roll and get another big win against Florida here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, completely agree. We're on the same page on this next game. A team that doesn't seem to have it together is Oklahoma. They seem to be a complete mess. And you're asking me if I can get a team with 19.5 points? I mean, cue the upset alert. It's not going to be my upset special, but I think Texas Tech clears this line pretty easily. I can see Oklahoma winning by 10, maybe 14, but they're not going to win by 20. Give me Texas Tech to easily cover.
Yeah, I still think Oklahoma's going to win. That's what they've been able to do all season is barely win, and they don't cover. They're not good at doing that, so I'm not going to bet them this way. I think Texas Tech does come in here and keeps it within a touchdown. Probably lose by 2 touchdowns at the end, but they're definitely going to cover these points here. Oklahoma's just barely getting by with these wins, so I see them potentially getting their first loss here in these next few weeks. So
I see them hanging on number 4 in the country to get to the playoff, and then I think Georgia beats the doors off of them.
Yeah, they do have They have 3 top 25 teams to finish out the season with Baylor, ISU, and then Okie State at the very end.
Yeah,
So they've got a little tough. Not easy. So we'll see. We'll see if they tighten it up, but not enough for this game. Not enough to cover. Give us Texas Tech and then Newman. Yeah, Oklahoma. You're going to lose again, buddy. Sorry, Newman.
I don't like his picks. I think he's either gonna look like a genius or an idiot. It'll be nowhere in between. Hey, Trev, do you like points? I like points.
Yeah.
How about an over-under of 71.5, which is what the over-under is for Duke Wake Forest. I've been down on Wake Forest all year, but fuck it, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Give me Wake to cover by 16. I'm not ballsy enough to take a 71.5 point over, but it's fun.
I mean, hey, they put up a 70 year, last week, so it's possible. But I think that's what people are thinking. It's in their minds, like they're gonna blow this thing out. I think they have a chance to go the over, but that's something I'm staying away. I'm not touching the points on that game. But give me Wake to win big, and I think it's even sliding more. Yeah, Duke's bad, and the money's flowing more towards Wake. It started at, I think it was below 16. Now it's at 16.5. I see it creeping up. So give me Wake all day. I like what they're doing out there. They can score and score a lot.
Yes, I'm not torn on this game, but I mean, are the Steelers getting Aaron Rodgers or are they getting Matt Corral? I watched the football game on Thursday night. I would be happy if the Steelers suited up Aaron Rodgers or Matt Corral. If you don't know who Matt Corral is, he is the quarterback of the Ole Miss Running Rebels, who I think easily beat Bo Nix and Auburn by a touchdown. I really like kind of feel dirty saying this. I like what Lane Kiffin is doing at Ole Miss. I think they win in Eagle Country.
I mean, I like what Lane Kiffin's doing on offense, but that defense is just a hot mess, absolute garbage trash. They're horrible, but they can score in almost every single possession. They're doing that. It is in Auburn, but I don't think any one of us is high on Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix has got that starting job just because his name is Bo Nix. I think he's been a huge disappointment for what a lot of people thought he could.
Even Brock Purdy, man. I mean, you hear about him and Sean Clifford. Like, there's these quarterbacks that have seemingly been around forever, and they're not very good.
No, they're just names. So yeah, no, give me Ole Miss. They again score a lot of points, 66.5. I'd actually take the over on this one too, because again, Ole Miss's defense is horrible, but a very potent offense. Auburn's going to get their points too, but yeah, give me Ole Miss to cover, and Matt Corral is going to continue to add to that Heisman. Heisman that he's putting together.
Yes. Do you know in the AFC North? This isn't an NFL podcast, but every team in the AFC North has a Heisman winner except the Steelers, which is why I like Matt Corral to the Steelers. So the entire conference or the entire division. But anyway, back and staying in the SEC, I got kind of my 2 darlings this year. I've been on Kentucky and I've been on Mississippi State. They both have won me a ton of money this year. So I was torn. So's Vegas. This is actually an even game. But give me the weird Kentucky quarterback that eats like mayo on his bananas or something weird. I don't know. Kentucky has something weird going on, and I'm sticking with the Wildcats.
Yeah, I've bet against Kentucky pretty much the entire season, and I've lost pretty much every single time. So I'm gonna jump on the blue bandwagon as well. Give me Kentucky. I like what they're doing. They beat the Gators, which always makes me happy. So you've won my heart, Big Blue out there. So go Kentucky all day. Even though this is sliding more towards Mississippi State, I think a lot of people like Mississippi State. But for all the reasons that you mentioned, give me Kentucky. I like it.
So it's funny. Kentucky's your school that burned you. Wake Forest is me. Like I keep fading Wake Forest and I keep losing money, and then you eventually just have to drink the Kool-Aid, right?
I mean, just fade the entire ACC. I mean, that's usually a good bet, typically the way that they've been playing. But yeah, no, we're flipping shit. Both of us are now
Exactly.
liking the teams we hated.
There we go. I'm dumb again. You and Newman both picked Kansas to cover last week. And I said one of my rules was I can never bet Kansas. And I may be throwing this game away, but give me Oklahoma State in the 30.5 points. It's probably a bad bet.
30.5. Like, Jesus. Like, that's what just got that number. I didn't even know what I just saw that. I didn't even look at the teams. I'm like, I'm definitely getting the underdog here. That's a lot of points. Kansas played well against Oklahoma. They did somewhat that they needed to. But I like Kansas. They've won me some money this year. 30.5 points is a lot. So
that's a ton
yeah.
of points. I got to stick to my guns. You know, in life, you got to stick to your guns. Let's move to SMU Houston. Trevor, we're living in the NIL world. That means players can get paid. That's why I'm picking SMU. I know nothing about SMU. I know nothing about Houston, but I know SMU has to have some studs because it's now legal to pay players. So give me SMU for that reason.
Yeah, so Tanner Mordecai, their quarterback, has 29 touchdown passes.
What a name, by the way! That's like an action hero. Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah, and then they've got a runner, Trey Siggers. So it's like these crazy last names. And you're right, I don't know anything about SMU either, but with names like that, I like it. I'm just going to go with SMU strictly because Mordecai, as the last name, is badass.
Sounds like a dude, right? Like, you know, just sounds like a dude. Speaking of a team with a lot of dudes, I got to see Ohio State in person. Oh my God. Like, their receivers are like really built up. If you throw a ball within a 10-yard radius, their receivers are catching it. They got the best wide receiver room. Their freshman quarterback, CJ Stroud, is, I think, you know, probably will go into next year as the nation's best quarterback. I think it's the nation's second best team. 18.5 is a ton of points to a good Penn State team. Like, I don't want to discredit Penn State. I just think OSU is that good.
Yeah, Ohio State, they were disappointing at the beginning of the season for me with their defense particularly looked really, really bad. They couldn't stop anybody. But now they're really kind of putting this thing together. You're right. CJ Stroud, as a freshman, is looking impressive, but he's got a lot of weapons to throw the ball to. Yeah, give me Ohio State. Penn State hasn't looked that great. 18.5. Yeah, that's a lot, but Ohio State can put up those points, and their defense has been shaping up. Give me Ohio State all day here.
If the big red dog, if Sean Clifford wasn't injured, if he still is working on that injury from Iowa, I think maybe it was different. But I mean, this Penn State team isn't the same with a hurt Clifford. I mean, you saw that with the loss against Illinois.
Yep, I agree. Can't bet against the Buckeyes here. I think this is a sure one for you.
Yep. Speaking of quarterback play, has any quarterback been more disappointing than Sam Howell this year? I mean, I was drinking that Kool-Aid too. UNC isn't even ranked. I don't think Notre Dame's that good. Jack Cohn's fine, but it's tough to win under the lights under touchdown Jesus. Give me Notre Dame minus 3.5 here. But I think you're taking your ACC guys.
You know what? I had UNC to win the ACC. I had them to go all the way to the college football playoff. I had Sam Howell win the Heisman. All of that is burning right now. But I will say UNC's offensive line has picked it up a little bit. That's been their weakest spot. I believe that's why Sam Howell has really struggled. He just doesn't have much time. And I believe that Sam Howell's going to be running the ball a lot on his own in this game. And so I think they actually come out. I think UNC gets the upset here.
Upset, nice.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame is maybe looking past them a little bit, just kind of thinking towards the end of the road. But North Carolina, you know, hey, I'm just going to live and die with you all the way through.
There you go. Ride your guns, boss.
I still like him. Give me UNC. It's a foolish one, but I'll take it.
Well, tell me you're not sticking with the ACC. And we go from touchdown Jesus to the Book of Mormon. I'm riding BYU. What about you?
All day. BYU, they've impressed me. You don't bet against the Book of Mormon on that. Don't test your fate with God. BYU all day. Virginia is nothing impressive again. Really bad ACC team. Give me BYU.
And it was tough to find an upset this week, Trevor. And this isn't much of one, but saving my upset special for the Mountain West game. I picked against San Diego State last week and was wrong. You went with San Diego State. But I like Fresno State has a fun offense. I'm going with Fresno State because I needed to pick an upset. So do you have anything on why San Diego State will win?
Kawhi Leonard went to school there, so that's why I like them. And that's the only person I know from that school. So give me San Diego State because of Kawhi.
and they won you money last week. So,
they did. Yeah.
You got to respect them.
And it's at home. Hey, give it to me. I like them. We'll see how it goes.
There we go. I know you have a big game. Florida State Clemson. That's not on our slate, and it's not involved in the pick'em, but where do you a lot of people are picking Florida State here.
Yeah, well, they had a big game. They've kind of found their identity a little bit more on offense, and their defense has done well. However, they're gonna face a very tough Clemson defense, and one that has a very good defensive front. And FSU still has a garbage line. I like Clemson to cover here with 10 points, and that's just me being a pessimist, Florida State fan. But we'll see. This is a big turning point for Florida State. I hope they can do it, but I'm not betting on them.
I also think Clemson wins, but I do think Florida State covers. My play in this game is the under because of all the reasons you said. I think Clemson can't score, and Florida State's going to struggle with that defense. So if you want to play in Florida State Clemson, I'd say take the under.
I agree. I think you're spot on with that. It's not going to be a pretty game, and there's probably going to be some injuries, sadly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough.
All right, so everyone have a great Saturday. We don't have that many more football weekends left. I mean, we're already almost in November, so that's a 1 month left of college football, everyone. So let's enjoy it, have some drinks, and let's watch some football.
Yeah, have fun, everybody.